Okay, so for this video, I'm going to be going through what was referred to as a kitchen box. And it's from the opening day group, Break Room on Facebook. And this is their information here. It's for Michael DeAngelis. And if you look on there, you can find all of their information on their podcast and everything else on Facebook. And one thing I want to say about these guys is that if you're a part of their room, you can actually get on there and they have some really good breaks of old vintage cards and stuff like that. And just last night they had pulled a 55 Jackie Robinson out of Verified Vintage, and I was kind of mad about that because usually I buy into them breaks, and I was just off doing whatever, watching TV last night, and missed it. And sure, lo and behold, that was the one time he did pull a Jackie Robinson. But without further ado, I'm going to start getting into what was in their kitchen sink box, and we'll go from there. Thank you. First out of the box was a 1996 Yankee World Champion calendar for 1997. It's pretty cool, especially if you're a Yankees guy. Also came out of it was the old KB Toys. Their set of baseball cards that came out of it. Topps produced it. And also out of here was the 1982 Kmart Top Series box. That was pretty cool because I actually remember getting one of them as a kid. We also had this here, which if you open it up on the inside, you will also see that Jose Canseco is in there as well. You don't see these every day either. That's pretty cool to see. We also have this box here, which is the LSU Tigers all-time greats for basketball. I haven't opened them yet because I don't do much on basketball, but I'll set them back in the box. We also have these Upper Deck holograms. We also have this Honus Wagner reprinted card from 1995. If you look at the back, you can see the copyright at the bottom of it. I'll scoot it up and make it a little easier. Still a pretty cool card to have, even if it's a reprint. And then had these Spawn cards that came into it. Spawn was always pretty cool. You know, it was like one of the first that I can remember independent comics that came out. It actually really took off, and they even had a show on HBO. It's one of the first animated shows HBO did. Todd McFarlane drew, and I believe he also helped write it as well. Next thing we have is an old Mets postcard. I can't say the year, but looking at it, I would say probably late 80s, early 90s. I got one of these from the Orioles as a kid. I'm trying to get a through the mail autograph of Cal Ripken, and I got it sent back with his postcard. Next up is an 87 Sportflix uncut sheet. This is pretty cool right here, because if you look at the back of it, you've got Dale Murphy, Keith Hernandez, Tony Gwynn, and Jim Rice. Now this here, I believe, is an 81 Topps Super. It's a Frank Tavares rather. The card looks like a glossy print. It's in really good shape besides the bottom left corner. We have a bunch of 8x10s as well. We have this one here of Chris Hovan. Have this one here of, based on the research I did, it came up as John David Booty. I'm not 100% sure on this one. Then we have this one here from Upper Deck. It's like a from 91. It's like the draft choice from the NBA of various previous years. And this is from Star Trek: The Next Generation, which is Jonathan Frakes, and I can't remember her name to save my life. But those are pretty cool to have. And some of the other 8x10s we have here was of Isaiah Thomas. And this here are a bunch of official photo cards from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Those I'll probably turn around and give my sister-in-law. Be willing to bet you on that one. This one here is a Jeff Gordon talking card, is what it says. But as old as this is, you know, batteries are dead and it's not going to work. Then we have this here from MVP, which is a Jim Abbott 1990 score and a pen to go with it. What we have here is a Joe Montana bobblehead. This was pretty cool. You know, having like the 49ers back in Montana's time along with Young, that was always pretty good to see, you know. This one here is just kind of like a NHL headliner, Martin Brodeur. And this here was kind of cool too. It was really neat the way it was done. It's got copies of Sandy Koufax and Frank Robinson cards in there from 1960 tops. And I just thought that was pretty cool. Really unique the way it was done. This here is a complete set of 1990 Donruss. And we have a banner here from Michael Waltrip. That was pretty cool. And this here is a book that shows you how to draw Japanese anime, based on what I'm reading here. You flip inside of it. And that's basically what I'm getting from that. And last but not least, certainly not least, this was probably the best thing my favorite that I pulled out of that box. It's New York Giants 25 Super Bowl mug. And over here, it's got actual gold in it, based on the paperwork that's inside of it. Now, I may not be a New York sports fan, but I've always respected the Giants, particularly because they were the ones that knocked off the mighty Patriots during their undefeated run. But that's the kitchen sink box from Michael over in the opening day break room on Facebook. Showed you his business card at the beginning, and I'll copy a link of it for the description. And let's go check it out and have fun. Thanks again. Subscribe and like, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.